Welcome back. It's your boy Fresh.
And I'm Mary, and we are a Co-ople of Nerds. And today, for Valentine's Day 2023, we are going to be reviewing My Bloody Valentine movie and board game. But today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to be doing a He Says, She Says, where I review them first, and Fresh reviews them second. And you'll get to see what each of our opinions are on both of these.
That's right.
And see how we compare.
That's right. He said, she said. I think the hardest thing about it has been not being able to talk about this movie
After we
or this
play the game and watch the movie, can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it. So we're going to go into separate rooms. I'll eventually find out when I'm editing this. But, yeah. Let us know down in the comments who's right, who's wrong. Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Splash Zone. Ha ha! There's not really much theme in this game. Your characters have no special abilities. The character Mary played in the movie died, I don't know, 20 minutes in. In the movie, he starts from the mine. In the game, he starts from the mine. But then, it's like the game, he's trying to move his way to the party. But the party is at the mine. But on the map of the board, it's not the same location. It's not like him moving in a big circle. You really don't feel the movie when you play this game.
I would say that you definitely felt the theme at least a little bit with the fact that Harry Warden is chasing after you, but he's following a very specific path. It kind of felt like in the movie that he knew exactly where they were at all times, but that's okay. And you also have to go get a weapon and then chase him down and try to kill him. I don't necessarily know how much that related to the actual movie itself, where in the end, you know, they had to find him and kill him.
This is probably what the game has going for it the best. The art on the board is sort of an artistic, stylized version of the movie, which I really enjoy. All of the cards and the character pawns are just pictures, which I really dislike. The little hearts are made well. It came with a little cup that you can roll the dice, which is really nice. The weapons are actually metal, so they look pretty cool. Yeah, that's probably the best thing.
I really like the art on this. The art on this is fantastic. It looks like comic book art. It really looks like it could have just come straight out of a comic book, which I really liked. Except, and the board was nice. It was high quality, and the cards are good. But I was a little bit disappointed in some of the components, just because there's like a sheriff's badge in there, and it's made out of just the cutout, punch out cardboard that a lot of pieces are made out of, and it's got stand-ins. I'm not the biggest fan of stand-ins. We usually like actual minis, although it's pretty cool the pictures on the stand-ins. Although one of the stand-ins is a woman that I played, and she dies pretty early on in the movie, so I thought that was a bit weird.
Oh, gameplay. This was a doozy. It's a roll and move. It has a spinner for the final boss, which I believe 2/5 make you spin again, 2/5 you lose, 1/5 you die. You need to basically land on the same spot as the killer, Harry. So it doesn't matter how much you plan ahead, how much you strategize, you're going to flick a spinner, and basically it's, you know, you got a 2/3 chance of dying, 1/3 chance of winning. It's a cooperative game, but you don't work together. There's nothing you can do. You can share hearts if you're about to die, but that's really it.
So, with regard to the gameplay, I thought that it was a pretty fun game, and it's a pretty easy game. You can play it really fast, and I like the fact that it's cooperative. We always like to play cooperative games together, but it was definitely a game it's a dice rolling game, so it's all about luck. And the game kind of tells you what to do, so there's very little strategy involved in it, and we are bigger fans of games that have a higher amount of strategy. I like to know that I have some control over how the game is going to turn out in the end. At least if I lose in the end, it's more my fault and not just how the dice fell on the table.
If you love My Bloody Valentine the movie, this game would be something cool to hang on your wall. The art looks great on the box. You know, he's holding the heart. That's awesome. If you love the movie and want something on your wall to show that how much you love the movie, buy this. If you love board games, stay the hell away from this. This was awful. It sort of felt like a kid's game with graphic violence. Score of 1 to 10, I would probably give this a 2. It had no cooperative elements. The best thing about it is the stylized art on the box and on the board. I hate the pictures of the movie on the cards and on the pawns. Just wasn't a game for me.
I would give it probably a 6, just because it was a relatively easy and laid back and fun game to play, and it was thematic in the sense that, you know, the artwork really played into the movie really well, except just the fact that there's not much strategy involved with it, and it felt like there was a time when you have to roll to get the weapon in order to pick it up, then you have to roll properly in order to pick it up. And it kind of felt like we were moving around in circles in one spot just trying to pick up this weapon. And then it felt like we were moving around in circles just trying to get to Harry Warden so that we could kill him. And then eventually he ended up just killing us instead, because it was just the spinner. We spun and he killed us. So that kind of sucked.
So this is your typical 80s slasher film. And it works. You know, it has a little bit of jump scares, some cool kills. That's all you're really looking for in these slashers. You're not looking for something deep. It has a nice twist ending, which I didn't see coming. So it's a very solid story.
The story of the movie I actually thought it's kind of unique. It didn't feel like something that I heard 1,000 times before. It feels like all the movies that you watch nowadays are just, it's the same thing that something you've already seen before. So I thought this was kind of a unique story, especially with, you know, Harry Warden having been, you know, in the mines. Like there are coal miner stories, but, you know, in the mines, and he had been left down there by his supervisors because they went to a Valentine's dance and there was an explosion, and he ended up surviving, and he got mad about it and killed them at the next Valentine's dance. 20 years later, we're trying to do the Valentine's Day dance again, and they're like, no, he's coming back. Which made it pretty suspenseful and scary at times, and also just trying to figure out in the end who is who and who's the bad guy, and there's a little twist at the end which I really liked.
Obviously this is pre-CGI, so all of the effects are practical. The gore had to be cut down 9 minutes by the Canadian Censorship Bureau or whatever. I think it could have used a little bit more. I've definitely seen way gorier movies from the 80s from this genre. It had some cool kills, but I don't like to get into that torture porn range. But I thought the special effects looked good. Yeah, but nothing so fake looking that it would distract you.
The special effects, they were okay. They weren't as bad as a lot of. I mean, I would almost rate this a B movie with regard to the special effects, but it wasn't that bad. I thought that it was okay. I've seen some really bad special effects in some cheap movies before, and for its time, I think it was pretty good.
So this movie was a low budget movie. I think they said it was $300,000 to make. It was a Canadian film crew. The movie's inception and finalized film was less than a year apart. I don't think the director went on to do a ton more. I don't think any of the actors went on to do a ton more. I'm not the best at discerning who's a great actor. I thought all of the dialogue was at least reasonable. Sometimes these horror movies you can get a little, oh, let's go hide by the chainsaw. And no, they were all practical in their thoughts, which didn't pull me out. So, I thought it was decent. There was one character that was annoying, but there's always one annoying character in a horror movie.
The acting in it, I think also the acting was pretty good too. I didn't think it was really all that bad. Some of the people were relatively even-toned, but I thought they did okay. And again, I would say I'd rate the acting above a B movie, but not much higher than that.
Overall, I enjoyed this movie. It was a classic 80s slasher. Didn't do anything revolutionary, but I really appreciate the small budget. I really appreciate, a group of people coming together, writing a movie, directing it, filming it, putting it out, and it being successful. It's a cult classic today for a reason. Not many people's careers really launched after this. I was kind of looking on Wikipedia and IMDb to see what else they did. I think the director did the remake in 2008 or something, and maybe one other film, but that was pretty much it. I enjoyed it. Didn't set the world on fire. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
So overall, I'd give the movie probably also a 6. Just because it did have that twist in the end, which I really liked. But it was, I guess I would have expected more of a story throughout, instead of just a lot of killing. And some of the times it felt like the story was relatively. It felt like you had to try and really figure out what was going on, and it was really slow for the longest time, and then everything kind of happens all at the end. So it's like a really long, drawn out story, and then all of a sudden everything happens in the last bit of the movie. So, but that's okay. I thought it was still pretty good, and I thought that the two paired up pretty nicely.
Wow, can you believe all those horrible takes from Mary? The end of this is just going to be all the outtake. No. Thank you for watching. Let us know down in the comments which one you agreed with, if you like this new format, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Pumpkin. We gotta hurry this up. Rihanna ain't singing forever.
Get to the halftime. Go watch your game.